All right. My apologies for the late start. There was some difficulties over here. I was trying to get on with Firefox and that wasn't working out, but it's all good. So I'm up on Safari and everything's fine. I certainly hope everybody's doing good tonight. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me try to get set up so I can maybe get in a chat with you all, see what's going on. I don't want to use up too much bandwidth on. Oh my goodness. No, turn it down. There you go. All right. Um, okay. So, I'd like to say good evening to everybody. Glad the sound's doing well. All right. I got all people, free people in the house. Jerry B, Mama Links, Richard Lopez. What's up, man? Bill Wall, Shalom, Kill Trick. Yeah, what's up? Skate TV. All right, yeah, I gotta check that one out. I didn't see that episode yet. Earl Blackman, RV Life, Jizzy Main, and yeah, stopping traffic in my roster hat. Wiz Laws, Skywatch Central, Sarah D, Irish Tupac, Irish Tupac. I love that. All right, Terrence B, Ivan Awaken. What's up? All right, so I saw a couple of y'all. Um, so I'll try to chat as much as I can, but I got a lot to cover, so I'll try to do this thing. So I was just sitting up, having some thoughts about this whole situation in reality that we deal with, and just came up not with the idea, just the title that they hijacked our senses, and we'll hear a little bit about me. I'm a normal guy, live a pretty normal life. Wasn't terribly popular in high school. Just regular dude. Ran track a couple years. I was in the army, for about 8 years. Got out. Still work around the area where I got out at. So, want the same things that most people want. I think most people at the end of the day just kind of want to be left alone. We want to be protected or feel secure anyway. Not so much be protected, but feel secure, want our needs met. Uh, want our loved ones taken care of, things like that. Um, but we're in a situation where we're having to deal with people who kind of aren't looking out for our best interest. People who otherwise are kind of screwing things up. We're dealing with a system where um, it's a capitalistic system. So in a system where it's a possibility to further your position in society by taking advantage of someone else, the people who have less of an affinity to work well with others, or those who will want to rule over others and assert their dominance over another group of people, in a situation like that, they'll be the ones to rise to the top every time. Um, it's a system where you are rewarded for being callous and kind of screwing over your fellow man. And you know, as stated, the people who are more prone to do those type of things, the ones that have less empathy for their fellow human being, will be the ones to rise to the top in such a situation. So that's kind of where we find ourselves. In this situation, there's going to be deception, and there's going to be people who are tied into the system, who are completely sold out and bought in to the system, and um, they're going to act as tools, cogs in the machine. They're just going to go along and continue the status quo. And those individuals are just where the controllers would want us all to be. But not all of us are in that frame of mind where we're going to be completely compliant with the system that's been put in place concerning the programming that's supposed to be taking place in society. We have been misled since before any of us can remember, since before any of us can think for ourselves. And that's led us to be in a community of people who are free thinkers. They call us conspiracy theorists, whack jobs, tinfoil hat wearing lunatics, or fill in the blank. That's the title that we get for being contrary to the vast majority of what society has become. In this situation where we have these discussions concerning the shape of the earth, we find ourselves on one side or the other side. We, as what will be called flat earthers, we're realists, true earthers, grounded in reality. The difference between us and the others, those who aren't aware just yet, those who are still steeped in the indoctrination, the programming that's taking place, there's a difference between us. And that difference is basically that we, the ones who just look at things for what they are, we trust our senses, our hearing, our smell, our taste, our touch, and our sight. Also, we could add in spirit, but spirit being a sixth sense that covers a lot of other areas like emotions. When you anger, excitement, fear, panic, happiness, joy, discomfort, jealousy, things like that. This all can fall under the umbrella of spirit. Things like intuition, those type of things. We connect better with our senses, and that's the difference between us and those who, I don't know, have such a terrible issue with us being who we are and saying the things that we say, speaking on the things that we speak on. Since we were babies, since we were children, before we could think for ourselves, we were bombarded with this idea, with this concept, with this absolute nonsense of a reality that was built around us. And in this situation, in this community where we look at alternative perspectives on what's going on in the world, people, we've all heard the phrase that the whole world's a stage. It's because all the lies, all the acting that's taking place, on the TV. We know that it's propaganda to have us think a certain way, to act a certain way, to just behave one way or another. It's all to program our minds to see things a certain way. And since we were children, we were born into this system that teaches us to conduct ourselves in a certain way and look at things how the programmers want us to look at them. We've been told that we live on a globe since before we could think for ourselves. And we constantly see reinforcement of that. We see it in TV, movies, in cartoons, in music, in education, advertisements. The list goes on. We're constantly bombarded with this. And the major issue with the globe model, in my opinion, one of the major issues is that what we're told from the globe model, it doesn't match up with reality, meaning that a lot of what's taught concerning the globe doesn't match up with our five senses, six senses. It doesn't match up. If you sit down and think about it, I mean, deep in your spirit, and you got one, whether you believe it or not. I mean, it kind of doesn't even feel right. But beyond that, so let's go through a scenario. Now, let's use Thanksgiving. Let's do Thanksgiving. Okay, so every year, towards the end of November, it's a time typically where it's fall. It's starting to get cooler. Thanksgiving in the States is known as a time to connect with loved ones, connect with family, and typically one of the things that takes place is the Thanksgiving dinner. I know the basis of it is built on like slaughter and genocide and all that. I know that. This is a scenario. Relax. We're all still woke. Rock with me for a minute. So picture this. Picture you are with your significant other and you're heading out to Thanksgiving dinner at a relative's place or a friend's place. Okay, so you all get dressed, you get ready, you hop in the car. You're on the way to the place. It takes about 30, 45 minutes to get there. It's kind of quiet. You got the radio on, and then all of a sudden, one of your favorite songs comes on. Not sure what your genre might be. Not sure what that song might be, what type it might be. I like jazz myself. I listen to a lot of different types of music. But whatever type of music you like, one of your favorite songs comes on, one of your favorite tunes. And you're getting into it, grooving, just feeling it. It could be something classical. Sometimes I'll listen to opera, and that'll resonate. Sometimes I'll listen to classical, and that'll resonate. Whatever it is, you feel it, and because you hear that music, it just sounds good to you. Does it not? I mean, it is your favorite song. It's one of your favorite tunes. So I'd imagine that this sounds good to you. So being that it sounds good to you, how do you know it sounds good to you? How do you know that your favorite music sounds good to you? Did you have to call someone with a lab coat to verify whether or not your favorite tune sounded good to you? So what you're saying is you trust your sense of hearing. Okay, good. So you're continuing on. Driving along, you finally get to the house. You go in, you're hugging, saying hello, saying hi to everybody, sit down, you relax. And typically, and how it usually goes in the South, on Thanksgiving, all the ladies, most all the ladies are in the kitchen, working it out, in the kitchen, handling business. So, I mean, the ladies are in there just chopping things up and blending this and rolling that and prepping this, and this is in the oven, this is cooking. You got your macaroni and cheese, you got your gravy going over here, your turkey. I mean, for people who still eat meat, you got your candy yams over here, you got your cream corn, you got your corn on the cob, all your trimmings, you got your dressing and your cranberry sauce over here. And then after all the food's done in the South, then the desserts are made. You'll be at the house waiting for Thanksgiving dinner, and the desserts to be finished cooking. You'll be there for hours and hours, waiting for dinner to get started, watching football and things. So You're just sitting in there, all the food's getting prepared, and you're just in there watching some football or whatever. You're just having a good old time, and you can smell the food, the aroma coming from the kitchen, and in some way or another, you can just zone in on that which smells good to you. You can smell that corn. Oh man, I can smell that dressing. What? Get out of here! Look, they went there with the desserts. Okay, so they made some pound cake, made some sweet potato pie, some pecan pie over here, made some peach cobbler with the flaky crust. You know, made a banana pudding. Chop up the bananas, a little pudding in there, a little vanilla wafers on top, some whipped cream. Man, smells good. Smells good in the other room. But how do you know it smells good? Are you sure it smells good? You didn't have to call somebody to tell you that it smells good. So you trust your sense of smell in that scenario. Okay, good. All right, so time goes by, and finally, it's time to eat. It's time to eat. Good stuff. So you get in there, get to the table, you got everything all handled, taking care of business. You wax it, man. You was hungry because it smelled good in the other room. So you get in there and you just tear it up. So you go through all that good food. Then you go through some of that dessert. Sitting back on the couch. It's about 5 minutes. And you already know you're leaning back, feeling good. You got a full stomach. And you're about to pass out. And you're just sitting there thinking about how good that food tasted. While you were in there just tearing it up, was that food not tasting good to you? Of course it was. That's why you were eating it. But are you sure that the food tasted good to you? Did you have to call somebody? Did you have to hear it being taught to you? Did some dude in a lab coat have to tell you that food tasted good? Did somebody that you deem to be more intelligent than yourself have to come to you and tell you that food tasted good? No? So that means you trust your sense of taste. And that's good. It's real good. So you all wrap it up. Thank you, Jose. So you all wrap up the food, pack it up. Dishes get washed, place gets cleaned up. Boom, you're on the way home. You packed up a couple plates, you get home, feeling good. All right, cool. You and your significant other, y'all, some way or another, through this situation, you got the rest of the night to yourself. Don't have to deal with anybody. You're on solo. So y'all gonna have some fun. So you're just gonna start with a little massage. Okay? Let's say your significant other decides, they're feeling good. They're gonna go ahead and give you a little massage. Just try to loosen you up a little bit, help you out. Since they're feeling good, they want you to feel good. Come on, get in there, grind on the neck a little bit, try to work those knots out, rub your shoulders, knees your back a little bit, doing the thumbs and the circles and all that good stuff. Work the lower back, that lower spot. You know what I mean. When you're sitting up too long and you feel that little ache in your back, they're hooking you up. They're going in. Deep tissue, like a pro. While you're getting that massage, and any potential, after effects, does that not feel good to you? While you're having your muscles, having the lactic acid worked out, while you're getting loosened up, does that not feel good? Are you sure that feels good? How do you know that feels good to you? Did someone smarter than you have to tell you that while you were getting that massage, that it felt good to you. You didn't have to get word from somebody else, some external source, to let you know that while you was getting rubbed down, that it felt good to you. Of course not, because you trust your sense of touch. You trust how you feel. You know it felt good. You know that. So let's talk about your sight. Now, that was operating the entire time. You were seeing everything. You were seeing all the people. You were seeing the food. You were seeing the road. You were seeing your significant other. You know, your sight's most always being activated. But the way your eyes work, this is where we've been misled. Your sight. Let's talk about that a little bit. Your sight. Now, imagine standing in a hallway, a long hallway. Now, let's say it's at a hotel, and the way that this works, and you know how your eyes work. The ceiling seems to be coming down. The floor, end of the hallway, seems to be going upward. The walls all seem to be going inward. Really long hallway. You can't see to the end of it. But all those straight lines seem to be converging at the vanishing point. You know this. You know that as things travel further away from you, that they become smaller. And as they become smaller, they eventually get to a point to where you can't see them anymore. Now, because of that, because of the programming, we've been told, we've been conditioned to believe that when things go out of our sight, that they've gone over curvature, because it's been banged into our head time and time again for years. We see globes everywhere. Everywhere. TV, movies, music, magazines, cartoons, advertisements, logos, everywhere. We always see that stupid globe. You get on Facebook, you want to access your notifications, you got to tap a globe. You AT&T, it's a globe. Driving down the freeway, you see Sherwin-Williams paint. Paint the world. Niggas pouring red paint on a globe. Universal Pictures, globe, in every movie. Even before NASA was put together. But we always see that. So when things come to a point to where we can't see them anymore with our eyes, we instinctively, because of the programming that we receive from all these different directions, we feel like it went over the curvature because we can't see it anymore. But we've all seen videos at this point where there's cameras that can zoom in on boats out on the water as they go out, because that's one of the oldest, lamest proofs of the globe that are out there. Well, if you ever stood on the side of a beach and you on the shore and you saw a boat out in the distance and that boat went out and it disappeared, mast first. Yeah, okay. We've all heard that one. But we've all seen those videos where somebody whips out their P900 and brings that boat back into view. The boat didn't go over any curvature. It just left where your eyes can see. Our sight has been hijacked through subliminal messaging, through programming, through this constant bombardment. I mean, because we can only see so far. But what we've been told is that there's curvature. Curvature. Now, we can sit here and we can imagine standing on that beach, watching a boat go off into the distance. And I'll bring you back. I'll try to bring you back. I hope you've seen this. It was one video, the rap video The world is flat at the beginning when I was panning from right to left on the water, and it was all flat. It was completely flat. That's what the beach looks like everywhere. That's what every beach looks like. You stand on the shore of a beach and you look out, and you're going to see flat water rise to your eye level. Look left, look right. As far as you can see, the water is flat. Now, try to imagine yourself going 5 miles out from the shore. Try to imagine what it would look like 5 miles out. Let's say you can only see 3.5 miles out, and as far as you can see out 3.5 miles, you look left, look right, everything looks flat. Project yourself out 3.5, 5 miles. Look around. Imagine that. The horizon would look flat because that's all you saw before you headed out that way. And now you're looking out further. Now you're further away from shore. You look back. You can barely see land. Now turn back around. Go out another 5 miles. Go out another 10 miles. Do a 360. You're going to look around. You're going to do a 360 in that water. And all you're going to see is a flat horizon. You see, that's imagination, but we for some reason or another, we just can't trust our sight. We've been taught not to trust our sight. Think about that. Because we've been told that there's curvature all this time. We've been told that we live on a spinning ball. We've been told in so many different ways that we live on a globe. And because of that, we have been trained away from the idea of trusting our own sight. Our senses are what we use to navigate reality. You trust your hearing. You trust your taste. You trust your smell. You trust your touch. You trust these other senses. You can't trust your eyes. See how that's level? After a little bit. See how that goes? Is not a bathtub possessing a surface that is completely flat? Shout out to Mr. Thrive and Survive. A fish tank. There can be fish, there's rocks, there's plants, but the surface of the water in that fish tank is always level. Just like a pool, surface is always level. Water seeks and finds its level. You go out to a lake, it's the same way. The ocean is the same way. But because we've been programmed to not trust our own sight, so many people just can't see it. That's kind of sad, actually. What needs to happen at this point is that people need to just remember to trust their sight. It's just that one thing. It's just that one thing. Maybe two things. Because, I mean, we're also told that we're spinning and that we're orbiting, that we're hurling around the sun, and that the sun's flying through space at 500,000 miles per hour. And the whole galaxy's moving. But we don't feel it. But we don't trust that we don't feel it. It's just, yeah, we're going millions of miles per hour. You just don't feel it because we're not changing directions at any point. Sure, why not? But people don't trust their senses on that. You only feel acceleration and deceleration and a constant speed, because if you're in a car and you're throwing a ball back and forth, we've all heard those. Now, let's get on the outside of the car and stand on top. Let's stand on top of the train and then see what happens, because that's more like what's going on in this world. In this world, that's kind of what's going on. Okay, get outside the train, stop playing catch in the boxcar, and get on top of the train. See what happens. See if you don't feel any motion. See if there's no resistance. You will be blown back off of that thing. What are you talking about? Oh, but we have the atmosphere. Yeah, the atmosphere is just, it's air that some way or another separates us in this enclosed system from the vacuum of space without a physical barrier. That doesn't really comport with reality. That, yeah, it just doesn't match, as far as I can tell. I don't think that can be duplicated, where there's a point where there's a vacuum that exists next to enclosed system without a physical barrier. That doesn't happen. What happens is the whole system of air. The air seeks to create equilibrium. This is why if you have a can like Cool Whip, something like that, and you drop it or you puncture it with a nail, all that stuff's just going to fly out there. And then after a while, it's going to stop. That's because all the air pressure is built up and it's just trying to escape and normalize and find balance. So that whole enclosed system next to a vacuum, no barrier, I'm not buying it, because that can't be duplicated in a lab. Morpheus D, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So there's that sense of feeling, or sense of motion, or whatever you want to call it. We don't feel the spin. Now we're going to spin 1,000 miles per hour and you don't feel it? That's ridiculous. I think you would know. I think you would know. Like if you were, okay, not even going to try to get into that one. But yeah, we got to remember to trust our sight, folks. Here's the flat Earth cup that I won at the last meetup. Isn't that cool? Let me see. Yeah, just having a little water. But yeah, that's what this is all about. We've had our senses hijacked, man. We got to get back to trusting our senses, like seriously, because it is ridiculous. There's people walking around actually believing things that are absolute nonsense. You would not believe how many people have come to me in the last week about this laser test. Look, y'all know I'm kind of sporadic, okay? I'm the type, since I got time, since I got a few little resources, and since I got, you know, a little bit of leniency with my schedule, flexibility and all that, I'm just out doing stuff. You know, I think I want to go to Alaska. Boom. I think I want to go, I'm going to go down to the Pacific Ocean and just hang out for a while. Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to get in a hot air balloon. Yeah, I'm going to do that. You know what? Hey, I want to do a laser test. Go get on some water. Let's go test some curvature across some water. Yeah, you got to go call somebody up for that. But I'm just out doing stuff. Okay, that wasn't something that was tested out or, you know, planned out for like weeks or anything like that. I thought about that on Saturday. I called a couple people Saturday, couldn't get up with anybody on Sunday, and then me and Mark got together and did that thing on Monday. And that was it. First time go. But we just out doing stuff. And you wouldn't believe how many people have come to me trying to convince me some way or another that the laser in that video doesn't work like every other laser that everybody else has seen throughout their lives. That some way or another, that particular laser could bend around some curvature. Although we know that water and lasers are optimal for measuring that which is level, but no, that particular time there was some issues. I'm going to be talking about that in an upcoming video. But nah, man. Lasers don't bend over freaking 30 feet of curvature. I went back out and measured it. It was about, the laser was about 8.5, between 8.5 and 9 feet. I was having a hard time with the tape measure. I was out there on solo. I'm trying to, do video. I got video of it. I might have to go out there again one more time and, do another measurement. But I'm pretty sure it was less than 10 feet. The laser was less than 10 feet off the ground. All right. I got no reason to jibe you on that. You could see on the video that he had actually, he was on the phone. You could see his phone lit up while he was talking to me out in the water. And then he comes back and you could see the bottom of his hand go like that by the laser, So, yeah, about 8.5, maybe 9 feet. Thank you, China, Mrs. Jones. So you could see that. So people are trying to come to me and say that this time, and the laser was like really high off the water. Now, here's the issue that these folks are having as far as refraction goes, because what happens in refraction that they're talking about, atmospheric refraction, there has to be this sort of situation in the air where two varying temperatures kind of meet up. I think about this like if you've ever had a service job like at a McDonald's or something. Now picture you have like some box, and this box of patties or whatever, it's like got ice on the outside of it. It's cold, it's just frozen. Now imagine you take that outside, sit that out on the pavement. It's a hot day, it's about 85, 90 degrees outside. You take that cold box out there. On that cold box, you see all this steam from the ice interacting with the heat from the sun. So it's the cold, and there's the heat coming down it, and then there's this zone where the air just isn't, it's trying to normalize. Okay, it's in between. It's like the heat's coming off, the cold's coming off, and this is where it meets. This zone right here. That's where the refraction occurs. Now, these goofballs coming at us talking about refraction, they fail to realize that the day that laser test took place, it was after a nice stretch of really hot days. I remember that distinctly because it's a really difficult time trying to find somewhere to chill after work when it's 93 degrees outside. It's a rough time, man. I get off work and I'm like, oh my God, let me see. Get off work and I'm trying to find a spot in the shade, man. Because the sun's blazing out here. I get off at 4. Sun's not going down till about 9. I'm like, I got 5 hours. I gotta try to chill somewhere, or just park it somewhere, go chill out in the Starbucks, go catch a movie, go walk the mall or something. Try to go get somewhere that's cool. But I'm kind of a homebody, so I'm just trying to find a shady spot. So so the 6 comes around, and it was like 80 something, low 80s that day. It was like 83, I think, something like that, something low. But it was cooler because like for a week and a half, it was like 85 plus, and it was just nasty. So when it gets down like 80, 83, something like that, that was cool. So last Monday, it was around those temperatures. So I was like, great, cool. It was chilly to me because it's all relative. You get used to these temperatures, and then it's a little bit cooler. That's how your body works. So Mr. Popzilla, thank you very much. Says rock on, brother. We'll do. So the thing is, it's like you I remember that day was real cool. So the air temperature that day, especially when the sun was going down, especially when we were doing the laser test, the air temperature had cooled down. I mean, it got to like 65, something like that. And you remember in the video, I had my jacket on. Now, I don't put my jacket on unless it's freaking cold or it's like getting cold, or if I like really feel like I need it. You know, typically I got the windows up and I'm like just in here relaxing, but it was kind of cold. We were down there by the water, so it was kind of chilly on the water. Now, the water temperature that day was 55. Okay. Air temperature, somewhere around 60, 65, something like that. Okay. It was not hot. There was not a big temperature differential between the air and the water that would cause this zone that would cause the beam to refract up or down. There was no variance in temperature that would create that sort of environment while the beam was traveling through it. So that type of refraction that day, nah, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Also, I mean, there was the video where you could actually see the laser traveling in a straight line, just like lasers do. So, yeah, but more on that a little bit later. All right, folks. That's what I got for that. Okay. People have been misled and tricked into not trusting their own sight. That's the summary of it. Basically, I said all that to say this. Okay. People need to just remember to trust their sight, because what we see with our eyes, it's not as deceptive as we've been told. They're telling us, no, you can't trust your senses. Your senses are fallible. What? Our senses are what we were given to navigate this plane. Of course, our senses are reliable. When you look up and you see the sun drifting across the sky, well, let me see. You don't feel any motion and you see the sun moving. I think that means that the sun's moving, not so much that the earth is spinning around the sun. When you watch these time lapses of the sun setting, rising, or going 360 degrees over the North Pole, some way or another, you can tell that it's the sun that's moving. That's easy to see. You're just sitting there. I mean, it pauses. You have the camera just sitting still, and you see the sun just drifting by. Of course, the sun's moving. Of course, we're stationary, and everything up there is moving around above us. When you see these long exposures, when people take these long exposures and put them on Polaris, and then all the stars make a perfect circle around it, well, you can't trust your sight on that? Does it not look like, oh, it looks like that one star is fixed and all the rest of them are going around it? That's what it looks like. Can you trust that? Can you trust your vision? What, do you think that we're constantly going towards Polaris? Because that's basically what this whole situation would indicate. If you think about that, the North Star is always right above the North Pole. We're flying through space and the North Star hasn't ever moved. So I guess that means that the Earth is spinning around the sun, always headed north towards Polaris. We've been heading towards Polaris for all recorded history because Polaris has always been in the same spot. Just like the Big Dipper, Little Dipper, Orion's Belt, other constellations near Polaris, Betelgeuse, Rigel, Sirius, Arcturus, just the same. All these stars are like close to Polaris, so that means that we've been traveling towards Polaris this whole time. We had to have been, because if we're flying through space and this one star has been in the same place the whole time, we must be flying straight towards Polaris at all times. And Polaris must just happen to be at 23.4 degrees trajectory out in space as we're orbiting around the sun some way or another. Like, think about that. Think about if that makes sense. Like, does that really make sense? Polaris is right there. Hey, the Earth is moving, right? We're flying through space, so this whole big ball spaceship must be headed straight towards Polaris because that's where it's going to be tomorrow night. Is there any doubt that Polaris is going to be in the exact same spot next week? No? Well, I guess that means that we're heading towards Polaris, or as your senses tell you, we might be on a flat stationary plane and Polaris is fixed at the North Pole and the rest of the stars orbit around Polaris just the way that we see it. It's possible. It's possible. And then, people will say the Southern Cross, the Southern Star. We have a Southern Pole star. You can see it in this place, and that place. Okay. Have you ever looked into a kaleidoscope? Okay. What? You think you can't be fooled? You think your eyes can't be fooled to some degree? You think that there's some sort of refraction that can't take place? Y'all talk about refraction all the time. You talk about optical illusions and all that good stuff. So what the heck, man? Dan Pratt, I appreciate you, man. God bless you. Thanks, Dan. All right. Cool, man. Thank you. The vegans in the house. What's up, man? But yeah. Come on, y'all. Yes, it's possible that there could be some things going on up there that we don't fully understand. What about the Southern Cross? What about the fact that bodies of water don't curve? I'm sorry. Look, I'm going to put up that other video. I put it on Facebook. I put it on Twitter. You can find it. Yeah, there. I got some video from that P900 that didn't show up in that laser test video, and I'm gonna get it on YouTube, and you're gonna see that laser pointing straight at the camera, making a full circle, as if that laser beam is pointing directly into the camera. There's no mistaking that. And if that beam was 8.5 feet above sea level, 10 miles away, 10.3 miles away, and this thing was supposed to be curved and I was supposed to be on the backside of the curve, I should have never seen that laser. I shouldn't have seen any of the light. People's talking about light dispersion. You're talking about beam divergence. You're talking about refraction. We need to be talking about the curvature. If there was 30 feet of bulging water between Mark and myself, I wouldn't have been able to see the laser. And the air conditions, the atmospheric conditions on the water, they were not conducive to the degree of refraction that you're talking about. There's no flipping way. You can go check timeanddate.com. You can go check. It was August 6th, Tacoma, Puget Sound. Around, let me see, that test happened around, let's say, between 8:45 and 9:05, something like that. We were on that live stream. You can go check if you want. Check the air temperature, check the water temperature, and let me know if there's a huge difference that would cause all that waviness. They're talking about the degree of refraction, the type of atmosphere that you see on a street on a hot day when you see the waves in the middle of the road at a distance. That type of stuff. That wasn't going on that water. So that definitely didn't affect the laser beam. And beyond that, shouldn't have been able to see the beam in the first place because it should have been covered behind the curvature of the bulging water on the Puget Sound. But that didn't happen. So if it's 10 miles of flatness there, what if we head north? I think 10 miles that way is flat too. Further north, 10 miles that way is flat too. Let's go a little to the east a little bit. There's some more water over there. 10 miles out that way is flat too. And then just keep going. Keep spreading it out. It's one ocean. It's one body of water. whether you like this one or not. All this right here, this is one body of water. I know Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Mediterranean, whatever. It's one body of water. They're all connected. So if there's 10 miles of flatness and the Puget Sound is connected to that one body of water, that 10 miles of flat water that we shot that laser across, that's connected. That's connected to this one body of water. So if any part of this is flat, doesn't that mean all of it's flat? Doesn't that mean all of it's level? Have our imaginations been so rotted, so diminished that we can't put that one together, that we can't connect those two? Puget Sound is connected to all other oceans, period. The tide was coming up. Tide was going in, tide was going out. So it's connected to the oceans, yeah? Yeah, of course. So they're flat. Okay, enough about that. It's almost bedtime. I'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank everybody for coming out. Thanks for hanging out. Special thanks to Morpheus D, Jose, China Mrs. Jones, and Mr. Popzilla. I appreciate you. Say goodnight to everybody in chat. My man Dan Pratt, I appreciate you. Dan Reza, my man Dave. Dave, you coming to the meetup tomorrow? There's a meetup. Creekside Ale House, Lake Stevens. 6 o'clock. Be there. All right. Christina Lee, Lady Legs, Adam G. Big Vegans in the house. Flat Accord Music. What's up? What's up? All right. Dan Pratt, I got to get you a wrench, man. Tim Truth, appreciate you. Acumo Virus. Wait, what? Southern Cross. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you cool for now, I guess. Kip's Journey. What's going on? Fellow Van Dweller. Minimalist in the house. Daniel Reza, GT Racing. David Long. Miss Tony. What's up? What's up? All right. All right. All right, folks. Seek Vivek, C Oddity, Jenny, Angle Pain. All right. All good, folks. So yeah. Hope everybody has a good night. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. We might have a chat tomorrow. I haven't got any plans. I might need to put something together, you know, Flat Earth Friday. I gotta chat with you about something tomorrow. Shoot. I don't know. I'm thinking I need to get with Vegan offline. Get with my man Vegan offline. You know, my projects, what's happening right now? My projects are kind of getting backed up, and I still want to communicate with you all. So I had an idea. I'm thinking about like on Flat Earth Fridays, kind of like a weekly wrap up of all the stuff that went on throughout the week, you know, since the last show. You know what I mean? Something like that. So I'm thinking like I don't know, Mike. I believe you all enjoy when I have Vegan on, my man Vegan Warrior. I'll chat with him. Maybe I'm chatting with him now. Maybe we could do like a weekly wrap up of everything that went on, like you know, just writing out some stuff and just discussing the headlines of, you know, things that go along with Flat Earth. You know, like a couple weeks it would have been Buzz, last week or this week, I don't know. When did they launch that stupid probe to go to the sun? These folks, look, my man, my man Seven, right? My man King Seven in the house. I see you. Look, he was talking to me earlier. He had sent me a message. All right, he said, let's do it. That's what's up. All right, check it. So he sends me a message on Instagram, and or he had tagged me in something. And it was about this post he put up about that launch. The what was that? The Parker satellite, whatever. The Parker probe going to the sun, man. And so he was like looking at a video and just talking about how they launched a probe to go to the sun at night. Like, I mean, I used to think about that. Like, even before I looked into flat Earth, I'm like, if they're going to wait, did they? Okay, so when they went to the moon, did they launch during the daytime? Did they launch during the daytime? Is that what happened? Why not launch at night? Never mind. Never mind. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. This is where Globies will be like, nah, no dummy. They had to reach escape velocity, escape the atmosphere, and then they had to, meet the moon as it was orbiting around the Earth on the other side. I can hear the justification already. All right, Craig Oliver, awesome work. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right, who else we got? Flattercore Music. I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. All right. So yeah, I might have to get with Vegan to to work out the details on that. Maybe we'll just chop it up tomorrow on something. So it looks like it might be the weekly wrap up Flat Earth Friday with Vegan Warrior and D Marble out here. How's that sound? So yeah, that might be what it is. Just wrapping things up for the week. I like it. Oh shoot, I can't do it tomorrow. I got a meetup at 6. I was just telling Dave about that. So, we'll figure something out, folks. I don't know. We might try to do it early, maybe late. No telling. We'll figure something out, y'all. But anyway, go ahead and hop off. Send a probe to the sun at night. That's so stupid. Hashtag and they believe it. All right, y'all. Hope everybody has a good night. Be good to each other. Take care of yourself. Stay flat. I'll see you next time. Thank you.